Yeah, when the vans they like interviewing at people in Ghana, it's just like, oh, what's the guy? I don't talk about Ghana. What is a Ghana?
House of Medics. I don't actually know what episode this is. I think it might be like the 7th or the 8th one. Is that what it's
No. I can't remember.
No, I'm joking now. Anyway, welcome to Medicine Explained. So you'll see on my left hand side we've got 2 different faces today. So I'm just going to go ahead, jump right in and let them explain exactly who they are.
Hello everyone, my name is Rasheed or Dr or Mr. Rabiu. And I'm an orthopaedic registrar in the southeast of England. No, of London, sorry. Southeast of London.
Nice. Dr. Emma?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Y'all know me. I'm Dr. Emma and I'm a dermatology registrar. Hi everyone, my name is Maame or Yahima or Dr. Maame and I am a foundation doctor working in the south of London. I just finished surgery. My love, my friend. I'm moving on to medicine, so yeah. I'm still a baby in the game. I'm here with the professionals.
Thank you. So guys, we just want to apologise. We know that there's meant to be somebody else with us as well, Tanaka. She's unable to make it today, so our apologies. So, first things first, guys, we're actually going to get into a game.
Oh.
And it is Never Have I Ever. Have you guys ever played that game before?
Yeah, but it's different, like, professional level.
Professional questions, but you like the...
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so...
We need a drink. We need water.
Let me know. So, we're gonna do, I'm gonna ask the questions, and then if you have done it, you put your hand up. If you haven't done it, you keep your hand down, okay?
Yeah.
So, never have I ever, I'm gonna play as well, to be honest, my hand will be up. Never have I ever got a tattoo.
So I'm
Not yet.
Tattoos,
No, if you've done
No,
it,
you've done it.
sorry.
Too much.
You've done it, hand up. Okay. I'm not here.
Okay, never have I ever stood someone up on a date.
I feel like
Have I ever had a speeding ticket?
Oh.
I don't drive.
Never have I ever aired someone's text.
Oh,
Like-
right
like-
now.
That's my brand. It's easy for girls because girls get, man, careful.
Have you done it or not?
You haven't aired?
I don't know.
No, not-
He's a reliable guy though.
Trust me, reply back, man.
Okay,
Always.
so
Okay. Never have I ever lied to get out of going to work. I hope you're
Going to work?
I'm not honest.
Like proper work. Like,
what did
no.
No.
The only job I've ever had is medicine, right? I guess it's paperboy when I was a kid, but that wasn't really a job.
You've never lied to get off work before.
No, like live, proper live. No.
I think I have.
I think you have.
I think it's like if you get caught up from that from a medical point of view, for example, you've got clinical responsibilities.
Yeah, you get in trouble.
If you get caught by slipping,
Probably professional, aren't you?
Yeah. I was talking about Sainsbury's, by the way.
Yeah. Clarify what we're talking about.
Okay, cool. Never have I ever given a fake name.
To
Anyone and everyone, huh?
all the time, bro.
Yeah, what was the name?
My name is James.
Hey, James!
Because when I was little, like, a fake name, do you mean like to randomers?
Yeah.
James, because when I was a kid, they used to call me James.
It's sushi,
Who used to call you
James.
James?
My uncle used to-
That's out of order.
It's a joke thing. James is my nickname. It's my nickname. Actually.
Nice.
It's my uncle in Nigeria.
Right. Okay.
I don't know where it comes from. What's else?
Never have I ever dumped someone over text.
I don't know.
Is it? Just keep all the wives.
Never have I ever been sick on public transport.
Like vomiting. Oh, that's not me.
Never have I ever lied to someone in this room.
I never liked Emma.
Yeah, I've never lied to you guys.
Okay.
You lie.
White lies.
Never have I ever texted an ex out of nowhere. Ain't nobody got time for
Get an
that.
ex. I've done that.
About a text ex for what?
Out of just a random text. Hey, how are you?
See, all my exes are my friends. So
Hey, you owe me money.
Scary.
Your friends are your ex.
like, I'm cordial with them. I can text them without
fair
feeling
enough.
like there's no bad energy.
Yeah,
Stay far
true.
away.
Oh no, I'm not gonna do that one. Never have I ever joined a dating app.
As in,
For bands.
If you have, I have.
Yeah, I've done it for
If
bands.
you haven't.
I did it
Long
for
time ago.
bands.
That was
You've
bands
done
though. That's for like band bands.
How do you join a dating app for bands, guys?
No, I got
Trust me,
like,
it was jokes.
I got dirty and I set my like target range like over 50.
Oh,
Hey.
goodness.
50. I in the sugar daddies for my friend.
Oh goodness.
I did
Did you
it.
get
Or for
any
me, no.
You
I
sure?
had it for like 10 minutes.
And they deleted it.
Yeah.
I
The DMU dean was on there.
Hey.
Should I just
I
suck
wanted
it?
some Demondford money, you know?
Too much.
Just sucking it.
Okay, cool, guys. I'm gonna quickly keep moving. Never have I ever kissed a friend's sibling.
That's
extremely
actually
questionable.
wild. Like,
Yeah.
that's too wild.
It's not possible, but yeah. As in, some people get married to their friends' brothers and
Yeah,
sisters.
yeah, fair enough.
So it's not that bad.
Never have I ever been refused entry to a club.
As a guy in London,
Unless you're like 7 girls in it, you can't get
yeah,
in.
like literally 7 girls, like,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, you guy can't go in, 7 girls come in. It's possible.
Yeah. Never have I ever had a holiday romance. When I was really young, I had a holiday romance.
Really? How
We
young?
sung, I definitely wasn't over the age of 13. We sung that Jennifer Lopez song.
What song?
Which one? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Have you had
Yeah, I got married to my holiday room.
That was good. That was sick.
Thank you.
10 points for you. Okay. Never have I ever used someone else's toothbrush.
No.
By mistake, I have.
I mean, I
By
have.
mistake?
My wife's
How?
toothbrush.
I definitely have.
Oh, that's cute.
I haven't.
Actually, my brothers as well once.
Nah, I
They put the
can't.
same toothbrush. I was so pissed off. I was like, what are you doing?
Like same colour.
Yeah, I realized it was too strong. You know, it's like, it's not
This is not my toothbrush.
This is
Yeah,
not
yeah,
mine.
yeah. Never have I ever stalked an ex's new partner on social media.
No.
Nope.
Shall
Too
never
much
be.
energy.
Never have I ever been thrown out of a bar or club.
Thrown out? No.
Wild. Never have I ever gone skinny dipping.
You see the skinny dipping? What is it?
Just
Naked.
Emma?
In the ocean. No.
Or like in the
pool,
Any body of water.
In a bathtub.
No.
Never have I ever fallen in love at first sight.
You know, of course, I guess. I got
Okay,
married to I saw her, I liked her, and I got married to her.
Yeah, so yours like that.
I guess she liked me back too. No, I didn't force her.
Never have I ever said I love you when I didn't mean it.
I didn't mean it. So that means if I didn't.
That means you're lying. Well, looking back, maybe to my exes.
But did you know you didn't mean it?
No, I meant it at the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Which one?
Yeah.
Which one?
I just.
Did you
I
say
just
first?
thought- No, I said it first, but it was to make things better, but it didn't make things better. It
Right,
made things
I see.
worse. Yeah, it didn't matter.
Oh god.
Never have I ever been mugged.
I've been lucky enough.
No.
Not to, I mean, close plenty times.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
In London.
yeah, when I was in secondary school, in
Is it Sunday
South
school?
secondary
Secondary
school.
school. Imagine.
But the past, but yeah, it was a bit tight back in those days, you know. So
Yeah,
a few times, but luckily never really got to it.
Okay, cool. Never have I ever broken a bone.
I broke
And
my
I
little
don't want to
toe.
break.
How? I kicked a rock.
Why? Why did you kick it wrong?
I was on a water holiday, so just like "Wee," in the river, and then my foot just went. Oh,
How long did it take to heal itself?
A while. I can't remember because it was just my little toe. There was nothing. There was no like cast or anything. It took a while.
Okay.
I feel like some of us, we probably all have at some point. You know when you're like, you hit on the table and then you have
I
that
think I've
delayed
broken
pain.
my
I
toe
think we've all
before,
broken
actually.
something.
Never have I ever lied about leaving the club early.
What
What do you mean lied about leaving early?
You make up an excuse as to why you're leaving. Like, oh guys.
Oh yeah,
Because,
yeah.
I'm tired, but I don't want to say I'm tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tired, but it's
Yeah.
dead, yeah.
Okay, last few. Never. Oh gosh. Oh.
But
Never have I ever gone on a blind date. No.
So,
No. Never have I ever stolen anything. I stole sweets when I was young.
Yeah.
We all still meet from the stew.
can't lie.
No?
So you've never
This
stolen
guy,
meat from
man,
the
it's
stew?
just-
Me from the studio. Oh, that's
Yeah, that's them. That's them.
Really?
In real
My own house.
life. Yeah,
That's all for you.
Yeah, but like, me from the studio. Okay, I've done that sometimes. I didn't say I steal it. I just said I was cheeky.
Okay, last
That was wrong.
question. Never have I ever dined and dashed. It's actually something I've always
No.
wanted to do. but
Yeah,
I've done
I
it.
always wanted to do.
I want to do that.
I'd be
you know?
too scared.
I was too
Really?
guilty.
Yeah.
Too guilty.
I just wanna.
I wouldn't feel guilty. I
and
just feel
run.
scared. I probably
I don't
like
think
trip
I'll
over
have the
stuff.
stomach.
Yeah,
Right.
you'd be scared.
That's my
I've seen it happen before.
Have
No,
you?
I mean-
Oh, as in like go to a restaurant. I
And
thought
you
you like
run.
go on a date with a guy and
No,
after
so you
run.
eat,
No.
and then you run.
So
Yeah, I've never
does that
done
change the situation for you?
You've never dined and dashed. Okay, awesome. So thank you guys for taking part in the game. So let's get straight into everything. So they're all very different doctors in their field. So I'm gonna just let you guys have the floor and explain exactly what you guys do as individuals. So Rasheed, because you're closest to me, you're always gonna go first, unfortunately. So you can go first.
So I'm an orthopaedic surgeon, and essentially that means I'm a doctor who deals with the musculoskeletal system, and I think that essentially means bones and joints and muscles and things like that. So I help patients or people with pain or discomfort in their bones and joints.
I'm gonna need a chat with you after.
My knees.
This back of mine.
Stick to your GP.
No, I'm
And so I'm a dermatology registrar. That means I look after everything skin, hair, and nails. So it's very diverse. We do cancer, we do autoimmune, we do infection, allergies. So yeah, and we look after all ages as well.
So I'm a foundation doctor, which means I just started my medical training, and when you start for the first 2 years, you rotate through different specialties. So I just finished, I did a month of obs and gynae, and then I just finished a month in general surgery, and I'll be moving to the acute medical unit, which I'm really excited
You
about.
said obs. Obs?
Obstetrics, sorry.
Obs.
So obstetrics and gynecology, so it's specialty centered on women's health, and then also pregnant women. So obstetrics is pregnant women and pregnant women health, and then gynecology is women's health, which is what I want to do actually in the future.
Okay, awesome. So all very different and unique
Yeah.
industry, but in the same medicine field. So how did you guys get into it? I know me and Dr Emma have already spoken about how you got to dermatology. We'll touch there again today, just for the sake of the panel. But I think we'll start with Dr Maame. How did you get into knowing that you wanted to do gynecology?
I think just being like a woman myself and just going to the GP for like dealing with things like heavy periods or regular periods, and then also I feel like from my placements, because when you're in medical school you rotate through a lot of specialties.
Right.
I just really loved my obstetrics and gynecology placement. A lot of times you see that women aren't really like taken seriously,
Yeah.
even till now, especially their pain. Even a lot of like women procedures are known, like a hysterectomy is the removal of the uterus, and the word hysterectomy comes from hysteria, which is like being crazy.
Seriously?
And this is how they saw women back in the medical field. So hysterectomy, so they remove. Yeah, no. So it's very like I really like being an advocate for like vulnerable people and the people that aren't like not seen highly in society. And I feel like women's health is like the most like the specialty that will allow me to do that. So like asylum women's health, or like vulnerable women, or like women that have been having like endometriosis and no one's really taking them seriously. It just allows me to tie my experiences and also being an advocate for vulnerable women.
I love that. I love that. So you've been doing this now as a foundation doctor for 8 months.
Yeah.
But before that, you were studying.
Yeah, I was in medical school. No, so I was in medical school, and then I finished class of COVID last year, May. And then I did interim. So actually, I think what the government were doing is, it's basically where they created a hybrid position. So you start F1, which is Foundation 1 in August, but because the NHS was stretched, I think they needed us newly qualified doctors to start work a bit earlier. So I volunteered to do that, and luckily I was doing it in obstetrics and gynecology.
Okay, sorry, just so I'm completely clear, and again, I don't know anything about medicine, that's why I'm
that's okay.
You went to college or uni?
So I went to uni for 6 years.
Yeah, and then you
and then finished. I did medicine.
Medicine, and then you went to medicine school.
No, so medical school is medicine and uni. Yeah.
I'm with you now. Okay, cool. Okay, so Dr. Rasheed, tell us about how you kind of got into obstetrics.
Orthopaedic.
Orthopaedics.
Yeah.
That's the bones and the muscles and the knees.
Essentially.
You know, when I think of that, I think about elderly people with what's it called?
Arthritis. Osteoarthritis.
That's immediately what I saw when you said that. So yeah, tell us how you got into just doing that specialty as well.
Yeah, I mean, orthopedics is a branch of surgery, and I've always been interested in surgery, at least in medicine. Before medical school, like all my uncles, I grew up in Nigeria, all my uncles are essentially engineers in Nigeria, building, constructing. And my father himself is a pharmacist, my mom is a microbiologist, so I have that kind of science and engineering background to my kind of family and upbringing.
Were you pushed to do medicine though, or? Yeah,
so that's the question. And my parents have never been pushy people. I think the culture I grew up in Nigeria was one where doctors are revered, and the doctors, scientists, lawyers, and you just aspire to do those kind of occupations, right?
But you wanted to?
Yeah, my dad and mom never said to me, become a doctor at any point in time. I think where you grow up sometimes determines what you want to do in the future.
Because you're surrounded by it, kind of thing.
Yeah, and surrounded by that aspiration.
Yeah.
So being an engineer was something I wanted to do, as well as maybe medicine, right? So in A-levels I studied maths and physics, and then I also did biology and chemistry. Kind of gave me the options to apply to either medicine or engineering.
Okay.
And when it came down to it, I asked myself, where would I see myself in the next 10, 15, 20 years? I was like, I would like to be that person who was a doctor in society. Yeah. Looking back now, things might be different, but I think that's where I saw myself then. Yeah.
Okay,
and in medical school, I enjoyed my surgical lectures, I enjoyed my surgical placements, and I joined the surgical society. And with that kind of research internally, I realized that out of all the surgeries I can see, orthopedics makes the most sense to me, because it's almost like the most engineering part of medicine where you kind of see
how surgery,
because it's to do with bones. So bones, for example.
Do you know every bone in the body?
But when you say know every bone in the body, I can't just rip it off.
What's this then?
So that's your proximal phalanx.
Yeah. The who, sorry?
Proximal phalanx. So it's like closest to your hand.
Proximal phalanx.
Yeah.
What's this bone?
So that bone there. So you have your radius and your ulnar bone. So that, so that thing you're touching there is your ulnar stylo.
Sorry.
Yeah. So it's just. Yeah. So so that's how I just get involved. And if a bone breaks, you just put it together, put some plates and screws to make it straight again, and that just makes sense. Or if a part of a building is worn out, like a hinge or whatever, you just replace it. So you do like.
Okay, so I see how you kind of put the engineering with the no, that's
really basic. Yeah, so that's what it's about for me.
Nice, awesome, thank you, Dr. Emma.
this is on a previous episode. Guys. You can take a look to the left, scroll down. But just quickly, kind of the complete opposite to Rasheed. When I was in medical school, I loved the medical placements. I didn't really like the surgical ones. So I knew that I was definitely going to do something in medicine. And then when it came to the medical specialties, I just knew I wanted something varied. I knew that I like to see a lot of different things. And I also think quite later on I realised I want an outpatient-based specialty for the purpose of lifestyle management, so that I'm not in the hospital all the time. So then, yeah, that kind of narrows it down. And I was really lucky. I did quite a lot of dermatology jobs. I did a dermatology job when I was in F2, so the year that Mum was about to be in. And then I took a year out where I did some more dermatology, and then I did dermatology again in core medical training. So I was really, really lucky, and I really enjoyed it. I just love, like I keep saying, the variety. And even though I didn't like surgery, I love the surgery that's in dermatology. So yeah, that was me. I just had a lot of experience in it, and I enjoyed all my experiences, and I went down that route.
Awesome, thank you. Dr. Maame, I don't know if you answered this. I'm just going to kind of throw it out there again. Why medicine? Did I ask? I don't think I asked that question. Yeah. Why medicine?
I don't know, it's very interesting you say that. I just think, so I grew up in South Africa, even though I'm from Ghanaian heritage.
Sure.
And honestly, the contrast between wealth and poverty was just, it was crazy. Like, you'd see young kids with like kwashiorkor, or like, you know, the condition you see on TV and they're like really skinny but they've got really big bellies.
The bloated stomach.
Yeah, or even like people dying from diarrhea, which we get from like having a night out. People actually in Africa were dying from that.
Wow.
And what I saw is doctors from the Western countries. I think they're called Doctors Without Borders. Yeah. So they would come to like South Africa and maybe give the children like medication to help with their conditions and like cure them. And I remember being a little girl and being like, oh my God, Daddy, I want to do that. I want to save them. I want to help them. And it wasn't until I came to this country that I just found out that medicine was a thing, and those were the people that helped. And yeah, I've just, ever since I've been younger, I've just always wanted to be like an advocate for vulnerable people. And this was just a specialty that allowed me to tie, I know it's very cliche, everyone says this, it allowed me to tie my love of science with helping people. And yeah, that's how I ended up being in medicine.
Awesome, thank you. And Dr. Emma? I know, again,
I'm one of those people that's got pictures of me wearing a medical costume when I was younger. I've just decided when I was younger. I don't know why. I don't have medics in my family. My dad's an engineer. My mum worked in an office. And I've got older brothers who are teachers or engineers. So definitely not from a sciencey household, but wherever I picked out from, I picked out Sha. And that's just what I've always wanted to do since I was little. So I just sort of focused on that trajectory and just kept going until I got there.
Awesome, lovely, thank you. So Dr. Rasheed, can you give us like a typical day in the life of like being a surgeon? It's so interesting to me because I can imagine you with your thingy and your hat and stuff. I don't know what it's called. And then you like cut, what's it called?
Make an
incision.
That thing.
Just make a cut.
When you cut someone and then you open them up and then you do things and then you stitch it back together.
Yeah.
Is that what you do?
That's basically, she just described my job. Why not just make this?
Yeah, so tell us like a typical day in the life. Do you do that every day?
So it's hard to describe a typical day in the life of any doctor, really. I think every day of the week you have a very different thing to do. But the main three things we tend to do is ward rounds, clinics, and surgeries.
Okay, ward round, because Dr. Elliot does this a lot, is when you go around with your clipboard, right? Yeah. And you make sure that the right medicine has been given to the patient.
That's
part of it.
Yeah. So basically, just as a ward round, so you're going around the ward, just see other patients, make sure everyone's
like,
okay.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the plan's all ticking along, and they're about to go home, and they're getting better. If they're getting worse, I think they're getting better.
How many people are like a typical ward?
It depends on your hospital. Some hospitals are busier than others. Some hospitals have bigger teams than other hospitals. So it's quite hard to tell you how many people. Like, for example, in my hospital at the moment, there's no orthopaedic ward, unfortunately. But there's around 20-25 patients on our list of orthopaedic patients in the hospital. Okay. And that could be shared amongst about 5, 6, 7 consultants who are the bosses. So in the morning, so my day starts in my current hospital at 8 o'clock. So as it officially starts at 8 o'clock, I get there probably around 7:30 to get myself ready for the day. At 8 o'clock, we have a morning, what we call
Do you
trauma.
wear scrubs and stuff?
Nowadays, we wear scrubs a lot more.
Yeah.
Because of COVID, you don't want to wear your
Outside
outside clothes and
Yeah.
all that. So, but previously, people used to wear kind of smart-looking clothes at work, not suits and not lab coats anymore, but like kind of
You don't wear lab coats?
no.
I wish we did.
Oh, wow.
They're still doing America there.
Yeah. I think it's because of
we don't
the
wear it.
infection.
Infection
Because
control.
you can't
Yeah.
really wash your arms.
Yeah, but when you're operating, what do you wear?
So you wear something else. You wear a surgical gown when you
Yeah.
operate, which is kind of sterile. It has,
Just thinking of like a ball
Sorry.
the blue thing, you see that the blue thing that blue
That you
green,
put your arms into.
Yeah.
Not you.
and then
Okay.
when the gloves over it.
and something tie at the back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's all like sterile, look looks clean, so that you can actually not give the person
Got you.
an infection.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so your day is you get there at 7:30, you get changed. You start at 8, you do your ward round. I won't interrupt you from here.
That's fine, you can. So at 8 o'clock you have a trauma meeting. So in orthopaedics we do a trauma meeting because patients come in maybe the day before with broken bones. So we discuss those patients and then you can go around and see your boss's patients on the ward. Make sure everyone's okay and the plans in place. So usually we do that quickly before 9 o'clock, right? Because at 9 o'clock you, on a normal non-surgical day, you go to clinics. So you see patients in clinics. And make sure that everyone's doing okay. They're coming from home with their orthopedic problems, and you help them plan for something. And let's say in the afternoon, after clinics at 12:30, you have lunch if you have time for lunch. You want to do theatre, which is the operating theatre.
This is my favourite.
This is your
So-
I know it is,
This is
but I
your-
feel like this is my favourite.
Then you go into theatres, you change from top to bottom. By that you mean you wear your hat because you don't hair in the wound. Yeah, you wear a visor or glasses to stop people's blood getting to your eyes. You wear a mask. You dress up in scrubs, right?
Did they give you footwear?
You can't get generic everyone's footwear. It's just kind of on the side so that visitors can use it too. Or you can buy or get yours as well in the hospital so that it's write your name on it so that people don't steal it or we don't use
People
it.
steal it all the time.
All the
Well, you're
time.
shooting.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're your Crocs, yeah.
yeah, take it because
Oh, I've had
it's
Sally
steal.
or one shoe gem on now.
Yeah.
Really?
I think people just don't find them sometimes, right? And just pick them there
Yeah,
as
just
well.
get random when it's an
Yeah.
emergency.
So no one's
yeah.
like, I must steal so many shoes. So
No,
they just like,
it's
they
an
just want to put the foot into
emergency.
something
Into
around
something
it.
that's
See the general
Yeah.
something.
And isn't it so funny that Crocs are now fashion?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
When it's just a normal shoe.
They're really cute.
Shoes.
They're so comfortable as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
and
can.
they're waterproof. But the crutches used in the hospital don't have holes on the top.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like fully covered, isn't it?
So that
Yeah.
otherwise you get blood in your toes.
Yeah.
Is it like a steel cap toe?
No, it's not. It's
Sorry.
soft. If it's
Do you know,
steel
I'm
cap,
thinking about catering stuff. That's
That's
why.
fine.
Yeah.
it's a reasonable question if it's steel cap, but it's not steel cap. Otherwise, I mean, you don't have to have a steel cap to be able to.
It's just- I have another question, but I feel like I'm leaving everybody else out.
That's
So
fine.
Mama has a story to tell about
Okay, tell us
shoes.
the story. Tell us the shoe story.
So someone actually had Crocs with holes in it, and I was on call last week, and we had someone with an abscess, which is basically like, an abscess. It's like a dermatology. It's basically like an ingrown spot, but there's like a lot of pus in it basically, and we had to cut it open in theatre, and usually there's like a suction that you use to suction the wound, and then it connects to like a disposable cap. But for some reason, the nursing staff hadn't connected it. So I was there, my reg was next to me, monitoring me because I'm still a baby, sucking this person's pus out.
Oh god.
And then
Sorry.
usually throughout the procedure, you'll be asking like, what's the blood loss or like how much output is coming out. And the nurse was like 0. And in my head I was thinking, but I definitely like drained 50
It was on
mil.
your foot.
I looked down, blood, pus on my feet, and I was doing a 12 to 11 that day, and it was still like 3 p.m. So I had to like walk down the corridor with this person's pus on my feet, scrub my feet. I was wearing trainers with no socks on for like the rest of the shift. When I went home, my feet were still smelling like pus. This was like the other day. It was so disgusting.
Oh my god.
Did you use chlorhexidine to wash your foot?
Pardon?
Did you use chlorhexidine?
Yeah, I was in there scrubbing like, just scrubbing all the creases. Yeah, but it happens. That's why you should never wear Crocs with holes in it.
So do you have your own Crocs then?
No. I need to buy some.
I mean,
to be fair.
When I was a foundation doctor as well,
Yeah,
I didn't
I have
mine.
one.
But you can have yours.
Because what if you get an infection?
Or you mean on her skin? You mean?
Yeah, I've got one.
If the patient had like a really bad bacteria, she could have had it on her skin, but she might not have got infection from it.
Yeah,
You're fine. Your toes
I'm
are
fine for now. I'll show you my toes, but no.
No, that's okay.
My toes are fine.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, tell us a typical day on, is it the ward?
Yeah.
The hospital?
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
What time do you get there?
So when I was on surgery, we started at 8 o'clock as well. But the thing is, as a foundation doctor, you're actually like a glorified secretary. I feel like, be honest, guys,
Yeah,
the
it's
hospital that can't work without us, basically. So I said,
I'm like, sorry for you. I mean, we've all done it.
yeah, no. So we get there, we prepare the list. So the only way in which you can know a patient is in the hospital is by them being on this special list that everyone sees so highly. It's like the Bible for doctors. It has the patient's name, what they've come in with, any recent blood results, and any plans. And it's basically our job to ensure that everything's right, the patients are where they need to be, and we start preparing the ward round. So in my computer, we have in my hospital, we have computers, and you basically prepare questions that the consultant or team might ask you. So who's this patient? What's issues that they've come in with? What were their blood tests like yesterday? How's their blood pressure been like overnight? And any outstanding jobs. So maybe if the day before they told you,
Question. If this paper or booklet or whatever is lost,
then the
what
hospital will
happens?
collapse, because it's actually the only thing that keeps the hospital
But it's not
running.
just it's a file on a
It's a
computer.
file on a computer that you print out,
For
basically,
each department, it's not just
for
the
each specialty.
So if it's like deleted by accident,
Then
the person's finished.
yeah,
That's
when
pretty
you
long.
finish for a few
Again.
hours, you
Just
start
start
again.
again.
It'll be long.
It'll be very long.
But you make a new file, so in the morning and then in the evening. So even if you delete one, you kind of remember what's happened.
Okay.
And that's where I think we're like really vital, because even if the registrar changed, so let's say one day is Dr. Emma, but then on Tuesday is Dr. Sally. If the list goes missing, at least I've been with Dr. Emma the day before, so I kind of remember
Yeah.
what's happened. So we're the only continuity, essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just get that list ready, you go on the ward round, you type for the more senior doctors, and then any jobs they generate. So it could be, call this person's GP, or write a letter for them to go home. We're the ones that actually do the dirty work.
Okay, so you do some admin stuff.
Yeah,
then. Okay.
we're basically glorified administrators.
Okay.
That's not true.
No, it's more than that.
As in
As you can
medical
tell, I'm not happy
degree.
right now. But no, we do a lot more than that. But for now, those are, as we're training, as we're bridging between going from university students to actual like doctors, where a lot of what we do is very supervised.
Okay.
So.
I was going to say one thing. I think where you're coming from is totally understandable, because you're just starting as a doctor. And
Yeah,
you're
just
expecting so
started.
much different in your
Yeah.
process.
So the difference is 8 months
Same
and 6
right.
years.
Yeah.
So like when you progress through your medical career and become a registrar, you realise that it's impossible for you to do what you're doing, because
Yeah.
you need a
Yeah.
team to do the work.
Yeah.
Because we're doing things that you're not
I'll
seeing.
never be able to do.
No,
Yeah.
you can do it, but you're not seeing
Not
us do.
now.
So
Yeah.
I know it's frustrating. You know, your job seems almost
Bit
useless.
of motivation.
It's
I
fun.
mean,
Yeah.
no, I love that. I love that we've got all these different senior and foundation levels of experience. It's really good. Awesome. So what else do you do? I know you don't just do the admin stuff as well. Just
So if someone becomes unwell on the ward, we'll be like first to see them, and then start initial management, and then when we feel like we need help, then we usually call our seniors to come and help, because obviously they're a bit more experienced. We do on-calls as well, so it will be just generic things. So I was surgical on call this week, which meant that any patient that came into A&E that was stable and that potentially had a surgical problem, I'll go see them, speak to them, take a history, so find out what's brought them in, if they have any medical conditions, examine them, and then I'll go and speak to my senior about them, like basically say the story back, say this is what I've started initially. If my senior agrees, then we'll continue that management. Or if it's something more out of my depth, then I come back with my senior to see that patient again, which is really good for learning and experience.
Okay. How have you dealt with like difficult patients? Because obviously you're still kind of getting into it.
Yeah.
So, I like the fact that you're smiling. It means that you have stories.
The thing is, I'm a very dramatic person, if you can't already tell. So I'll just be like, I'll be like, I'll give you a minute. I'll go outside and be like, oh, jeez, what am I going to do? And then I just think it's just calling your seniors. Your seniors are very supportive, and also, like, you are a doctor, you have been to medical school. So even getting a patient stable and then admitting that you need help is something I do. So I'll just be like, okay, so I'm a junior member of the team. I can see that you're really unwell. Maybe tell the nurses to start them on fluids or give them painkillers or start antibiotics. And I'll be like, or I'll just get one of my more senior doctors.
Okay,
that's
so you
more
actually tell the patients that you're a junior member?
Sometimes I do. I think it's really healthy to admit your limitations, just to manage the patient's expectations as well. And then I call my senior and I'm like, hi, can you come? And then I'll be like, in the meantime, while you're here, what can I do to help? I think as long as you make yourself resourceful, then everyone will commend you as a junior doctor.
Guys, I'm learning a lot. This is really interesting. This is like the most interesting panel. Okay, Dr. Emma, tell us a day in the life. Tell us about your Wednesdays.
Wednesday's surgery day.
The good part of medicine.
It's her favourite day.
Don't listen to him. But no, my day starts at 9. So usually I get in about 8:30 just to prep my clinic so I know who's coming in. So my clinic, the morning clinic will be from 9 to 12:30 and I usually see 12 patients. So it'll be a mixture of new and follow-ups. So new patients will come fresh with a complaint and then I'll review them. Whereas the follow-ups will be someone that either I or one of my colleagues has met before and has started some management. So then I'm going to see whether it's going well, whether it's not going well, do we need to change it, blah, blah, blah. So that's a clinic day. The other type of clinic I'll do is skin cancer screening clinic, which is basically a really fast-paced clinic where people come in because they've noticed something, maybe like a mole or something growing on their skin, and we'll see them and I'll basically say, oh, this is fine, or actually no, I don't like the look of that, that looked dangerous. If it's dangerous, it can be removed that same day. If it's a bit funny, then maybe I'll ask them to come back in 3 months. I'll take photographs of it, professional photographs, come back in 3 months. Or if it's fine, I'll just say it's fine, go home. And then some days I'm the person that's in the theatre actually doing the surgery. So people will send patients to me, can you remove this? And that can be, again, people that have been seen that day or people who've been seen in the clinic, but it's not urgent, so they come back a bit later to have it removed. We also do ward rounds. Sometimes we'll have dermatology patients to see on the wards. Or sometimes I have teaching, that's me teaching medical students or teaching junior doctors or me being taught. So yeah, very varied, different sessions during the week.
Awesome. So question, has there ever been a time where you've seen something on someone's skin and you're like, oh, like I don't know what that is. Do you then refer them to somebody else, or like do you send them to like a hospital or tell them to be seen by like a senior?
So if like one of a few things can happen. So for example, if it's the skin cancer screening clinic, because people come in with things that could be dangerous, we have someone operating there and then, just in another room. So for example, like this Tuesday, I saw something that looked horrendous and I was like, this is definitely a cancer. And obviously I didn't want to tell her like, this thing on your skin is bad. So I was just like, okay, we need to remove this today. And she was kind of like, oh, can I come out later? I was like, no, it needs to come out today.
Is that how come you said it?
Yeah, you have to.
Let's do this scenario.
Okay.
It's like, oh, you've looked at my thingy.
Yeah.
Okay, no, let's look at this because it's an actual. What is this?
It's a mole. But it's okay.
It's not high.
It's right, we're not going to diagnose you.
So, what is this? I've noticed this is getting bigger.
So I'd look at it, I'd examine it. I've got a machine called a dermatoscope, which is like a magnifying glass with a light. So I would look at it, and then depending on how the pigment within it is arranged, I can basically decide myself whether it's dangerous or not. So let's say if I think it's dangerous, I'm going to say, it has some atypical features. I think we should remove that today.
No, I'm going to go home, maybe come back next week because I've got to pick up the kids.
I mean, you can, but I think that the best thing to do would be to get it out today. It doesn't take very long, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. And then in 2 weeks' time, we'll be able to discuss the results with you And it's just much safer to remove it today.
Okay, so you give them the option, like do it today or come back, but
Yeah.
you suggested today.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I can't force people. And there are
Yeah.
some people who generally cannot wait. They're going to say, no, I need to go, I need to pick up this and that. So, and that's also fine. Like, it's not going to, you're not going to drop down dead. But
The sooner.
the sooner the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my job to convey that urgency. There are some things that, for example, someone might have something on their back, which I don't think looks very dangerous, but because it's on their back and they can't monitor it, I'll just say, why don't we just remove it so you don't have to think about it anymore? Because if it changes, you won't be able to see it.
Yeah.
So it's very much a discussion and negotiation depending on the person. There are also some people you just don't trust. Some people I'm just like, I don't think you're ever going to look at this thing again. Let me just remove it. Because if it becomes dangerous, I don't trust that you would come back.
Yeah.
Let's just take it out. So it's very much a negotiation.
So it's
of
kind of you
the
making
person.
sure you kind of use your initiative as well.
Definitely.
So say someone had, sorry guys, say someone had like a cancer or something on their hand, and then what I was gonna say just like ran out of my head. Like,
It's happened.
It happens the other way as well. So people come in and I'm like, this is definitely fine, and they'll be like, no, I really want it removed.
Yeah.
Like, what if it's dangerous? My auntie's grandson had cancer. I think this is cancer.
Yeah.
I'll be like, babes, it's fine. Like, it has no concerning features at all. Some people generally do not believe you, and eventually you just say, okay, if you want it removed, we can remove it, but we won't do it today. We'll ask you to come back on another day, 'cause it's not urgent.
Okay, thank you for that. I forgot my question, unfortunately. If it comes back to me, I'll definitely ask you. But Dr Maame, wanted to ask you pros and cons of being a foundation doctor? Because you're not a student anymore, are you?
No.
Yeah, foundation doctor. Just for any students that might be watching so they know what to look forward to, what are the pros and cons?
I think a massive pro is just for you, like finally achieving a lifelong dream, and especially because you're on the wards a lot with the patient, just being an advocate for your patient, being able to like really make a difference in someone's life. So you get to know your patient so much so that even if it's not their medical condition that you're fixing, it's maybe referring them to a social worker so they get help with finances, or physiotherapist or occupational therapist so they can improve their confidence when they go home. So it's just like providing holistic care and being an advocate for the patient. I think it's obviously for everyone that does go to medical school or trains to be a doctor, when you're finally in that moment, you just every day you go home when you're not tired, like really happy and feeling very like fulfilled and self-fulfilled. I think it's such an amazing feeling to be a doctor and just being a voice for your patient.
So you have to kind of really love people then, and
Yeah,
know that
basically.
compassion is something that's very, very important.
Yeah,
as well,
definitely.
right?
Like you become their friend essentially, and you
Yeah.
find out things about them that they probably haven't told anyone else, and try and help them with it. So it's really rewarding.
Oh, this be my doctor.
Cons I'd say is tiredness and just adjusting to work life, just with any job essentially. Even with on call, sometimes you're working weekends or you're working weekends or working long hours during the week, but they're very limited. It won't be your rota throughout the whole year, and as you do progress, things do get a lot better. It does get really tiring, but then nothing in life worth having comes easy, isn't it?
Yeah. So is there a lot of overtime? Is it most days like overtime?
So yeah, there are, especially when you first become a doctor, you're a lot slower at doing things. So for the first few months, you'll probably stay in like an hour over or 2 hours over. But once you become more efficient, so you learn to do jobs on the go, or like you become friends with other people in departments, so you're able to get a scan quicker because actually your friend works in the department. Things get a lot easier.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dr. Rasheed, this question is, have you ever had like a weird or funny experience where you've cut someone open? Sorry, that sounds really gory. You've opened the patient and then their bone wasn't what you thought it was going to be, so you had to do something that you didn't think you'd have to do.
Yeah, I think I can get the question. I think it's just the uncertainty of doing surgery. Can happen, and it happens quite regularly, that you think you're going to do one thing, you have to change your plan. And I think it's always important, even before you go into surgery, to let a patient know that I plan to do this,
But if I can't,
would you mind if I do this, or this? And then it's up to them to give you permission to just, no, if you can't do that, stop, or if you can't do that, proceed.
So if they say no, and you literally cut their leg open, you then just stitch it back together.
If they said no, like absolutely no, then yes, you have to.
So they would have just gone through that pain of being slit open for no reason.
But at least they've decided that the other alternative is not good enough for them. So like they give you the chance to do that one thing that you could possibly do, but the alternative was not good enough for them, so they've stopped it. So in regards to your question, all the time we think a fracture is going to be easy to bring together a plate on, for example. But then whilst you're doing things to the bone, it might crack. The bone might be so soft that it doesn't hold the plate or the screws.
Oh gosh.
And then.
So what do you do?
so like
I was literally picturing like shattered pieces.
Just bones everywhere.
Almost same kind of situation. It becomes a difficult patient, right?
Yeah.
So you have to just try and like seek information. What's going wrong?
Yeah.
What's happening? Then as far as everything is safe, you have to call your boss or call a more senior person who has more experience, and maybe they can tell you, no, that's the reason why it's wrong, and then you can fix the problem, or they give you alternatives to fix the problem with a new device. So rather than a plate, it could be a nail or a wire. So there's different things you can use to fix a bone or fix a problem, and the more experienced person can let you know. So I think it's really important as a doctor to know the limits of your competence, so the limits of what you can and cannot do, and always escalate to a more senior person.
So there's always a solution. There's never, this can't be done. There's always a solution.
The thing is, in some situations, your option or your solution is something that's not very pleasant, right? And there's always a solution in trying to like maintain someone's life. So the whole idea of medicine is not to just maintain people to be alive forever, right? That's not medicine. Medicine is about maintaining good or functional health, right? So it gets to a stage where you ask yourself, there's only so much we can do as medics or doctors or surgeons to help you. The alternative is to do something just quite drastic, for example, cutting the leg off, or for example, taking the whole joint away. It's possible, and it could be the only thing that's possible.
You look so horrified.
It's called like an amputation. It happens, people have it, and people live.
So have you had to do that before?
People live like full life with amputations.
Have you had to do that before?
Yeah, so some people's like limbs, so legs or hands, is not functional, doesn't give them a good function, and they might want it off themselves, like it's too painful, or it causes much distress, and we'll take it
They
off.
just want it gone.
Yeah, or we see that actually it's not viable, so if we kept it, it should just be a source of infection and they could die from it. So in that case, by taking the leg, part of the leg off, you're going to save their life. So
You
that's
stop the infections.
from proceeding upwards.
Yes. You got it.
Okay,
So that's it.
thank you. So what are the pros and cons just for anybody that might want to get into orthopedics?
Orthopedic surgery.
Orthopedics,
Yeah, I think, I guess it's still part of medicine, right? So it's a similar kind of pro and con to any other medical field, particularly with the cons, because we work in the NHS. So in regards to tiredness, you can get quite burnt out working in the NHS for different reasons. Being short-staffed means that sometimes, although you're more efficient at working, as you get more senior or more experienced in your job, you might still have to stay longer. We always go in a bit earlier and we always leave a bit later. And that happens in every job. It also happens in medicine. And one thing about that is, in other jobs, you might get compensated for that, right? You might get you might get a bonus, you might get overtime, you might get time in lieu. But generally, as doctors, I'm sure you've experienced, never really happens that you do get that time back.
When you say never really, have you experienced it?
Yeah, I've never had. Okay, I'll tell you, my official hours were like 8 to 5, I think. I didn't check my contract because I know I'm just there at 8 and I leave whenever I'm able to leave, right?
Really?
Yes. On a day-to-day basis.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You leave when you can leave?
When like I've finished what I think I should be doing today. But that's a habit that the medical community sometimes maybe should lose, and maybe you should use your handover more effectively. So you say it's 4 o'clock, right? I'm done now, so I'm gonna just tell the next person to take over from.
Why do you think it's important to do that then?
I think it's important to do that because then we don't get as tired, we don't get as
For your mental
complacent.
health.
For your also personal life. I think what I've learned is I've worked really hard to get to where I am, and now looking back, maybe I didn't have to work so hard to get to where I am.
Honesty.
Like, it just happens that we work so hard in terms of your family, your friend, your personal life take a hit.
Yeah.
And you feel like your medicine can't take that hit because it's you forever. But then when you take a step back, and I guess hopefully when you get more experience, because I'm still 6 years in, you're like, I'm going to work this job till I'm like 65, 70.
Exactly.
What's the rush?
Enjoy life.
Yeah. So therefore, if your colleagues, your job, your managers allowed you to enjoy, or taught you actively to enjoy life or to get out definitely, which is happening more now. We have guardians.
What's it called?
Guardians
or safe working.
Or safe working. So basically, they just put systems in place that mean that you don't live late every day. That means that you don't overstep the mark in your working. That means that
you have your life on the side as well.
If you're being forced or bullied into doing things that you don't want to do, you have someone who you can go to and raise the concern to. And in some hospitals actually now, you can say, I worked 30 minutes extra today, 1 hour tomorrow, and you get money back.
Exceptional reporting.
Exactly.
So you can do this for like every shift then?
I think things are evolving.
Yeah, and you get so you get the money back, or you can get the day in lieu, basically, which means an extra holiday off. Yeah.
So this is something that's only just been implemented.
It's evolving.
Wow.
In part of medicine, and it's good because it's just information, right? So like somebody somewhere who's in the medic can be like, these guys are working often longer than they should. Why? Maybe they need one more doctor. Maybe they need less patients. So sometimes you just be like, we don't have the capacity to treat this many people. You can either make more systems to house those people, or just recruit more doctors, recruit more consultants, recruit more physios, more pharmacists, more occupational therapists, more physician assistants, associates, so that they can just help you out.
Okay, so what I'm getting from this is that you guys have to really love what you do.
Definitely.
One big point, you have to love the medicine you're doing. If you're going to medicine for anything else but the love of medicine,
don't do it.
In England, it's not worth it at all, because you don't get paid, you don't get enough, you don't get enough kind of incentives to do it. I think you should love what you're doing, definitely, to stay in this job like we are at the moment. A lot of our colleagues have gone into other sectors that are giving them much more money. So if you want money,
go for something else.
Something else.
That's your motivation.
That's your motivation, which is fine.
It's
absolutely fine motivation, because money makes the world go round, I guess. If that's what you want, medicine currently in the UK is not the way forward for you. There's other things to do which will give you lots more money a lot quicker and earlier in your life. Rather than starting to work at 24.
Okay. Dr. I'm going to ask you the question. We're going to go into one more question because I know time is running and ticking. I've actually got my friend who's a doctor that's messaging me as well. She's online. She's got to hi. Dr. Emma, so pros and cons for being a dermatologist.
Pros and cons. I just want to say actually it's really refreshing to hear what Dr. Maame said, because I think probably for us, like after a while you get a bit jaded, helping people and it's really nice to hear just like the purity from, because obviously she's been doing it, it's all new for her, so it's really nice to hear. But definitely I think it's always good to go back and think, how many people's lives have I impacted today, and you impact, if I see 24 people in clinic, if I have double clinic, I see 12 people each clinic. I've seen 24 people, without a doubt, at least 15 of them I've changed their life in some way. And that's a big thing. There aren't many professions that can say that. Like even, you spend 10 minutes with someone and you do something that actually changes their day-to-day life. And that's a real privilege. So I do love medicine for that. And again, what Dr. Maame said is so true. I always say that people just tell you stuff because you're a doctor, and I love it because I'm a people person. So I love just that people trust you, you have conversations with people, you get to learn a lot about different types of people at different stages of their life. So that's definitely a big pro. And then, cons-wise, I think we can all list the things that we've missed out on because we're doing medicine, or important events that we've missed. Time that we've had to sacrifice, but things are definitely improving. I'm happy that Rasheed touched on exception reporting and stuff. I'm actually the chairman or the chairperson of the Junior Doctor Forum in my hospital, so it's my job to make sure that people are saying if they're always staying late, if they're always really stretched. So things are changing. My sincerest hope is that eventually people won't be staying late, as much as they were or as stretched as they have been, but I know that will always be a part of it just because of the nature of the NHS. And if anything, the stress on the NHS is increasing, people's expectations are higher. So I think the major con is that you kind of there's always like a low level, if not moderate level stress. You're never completely free. There's always just some element of stress in your day, which I think it would be much more pleasurable if it wasn't there. But is the NHS. So for the near future, it's definitely going to be around for a while.
Lovely, thank you guys. So last question, if you guys can give 2 to 3 tips or tricks or advice to any students that might be watching, you want to go first?
I would say enjoy the process. I remember being in medical school and being like, oh my god, I can't wait to be a doctor. And now I'm a doctor, I'm just like, I can't wait to be retired. And I never really I was always rushing, and I just think this quote is just so amazing, that the grass isn't always greener on the other side, it's greener where you water it. And you should basically enjoy every moment, enjoy being a student, learn how to work smart and not work hard, find a way to balance your life and making sure that you're still going to your friends' parties, you're not always missing these events, because those are probably moments in your friends and family's lives you're not going to get back, but there's always an opportunity to, you know, catch up on your work or even learn things that you feel like you may miss out on. Second thing I would say is just be proactive. I mean, like, you obviously have like this amazing platform in which people have been through that whole process again, so like don't be shy. If there are any questions you need to find out about medicine or what it's like, just be a beg. That's my brand. Be a beg. DM people, network. You never know what information. Yeah, exactly. You will never know what information you can get or what potential internship you can get just from talking to people. And then my last one is just remember your value, because I'm like so big on like imposter syndrome and people just being really insecure about how amazing and bomb they are. But yeah, remember your value, remember that you deserve to be in medical school and you're going to deserve to be an amazing doctor, and that's because you've passed your exams, you've worked really hard. Embrace it and remember your source, basically.
Love it. Dr. Emma?
I would say first main tip is ask questions. So ask questions when you're a student, when you're a doctor. Be curious, always ask questions about everything. Don't think, oh, I'm expected to know this, or oh, I can find out later. Just ask questions, be a curious person. It'll definitely help. Secondly, I would say, because of the type of people that usually go into medicine, we're usually a certain type of personality. So for those people, I would say chill out and just relax. It will be fine. It's always fine. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're probably doing much better than you realise, or much better than a lot of the people around you. So definitely just take a step back sometimes and just look back on what you've actually achieved. Just take it easy on yourself, I think, because medics are well known for beating themselves up and sort of majoring on the minor kind of thing. But just, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Awesome. This is definitely my favourite panel. Yeah, actually is. I've done a lot. Dr. Rasheed?
Yeah, I think one important tip is just remember you're not alone throughout the whole process. I think it just echoes what's been said before. Always use those around you to kind of push you and help you go further. There's always somebody in your close vicinity who can help you. Always do everything in teams. Like, one thing I realized coming from secondary school to university, initially I tried to do everything myself, you know, try and advise yourself, work yourself, learn everything hardcore yourself. But the true learning only really happens when you're doing groups. I was lucky to have people, my friends who I could work with, people like Dr. Emma, went to medical school together, and other people in the group as well. I'm working with them, allow me to learn the most, the quickest. And also, not only do you sharpen your tools, you sharpen their tools as well. And there's enough space for all of you medicine, so there's no need to like fight amongst each other for like to be the top. Like you can all be tops. Like everyone can be at the top of the game in medicine. There's enough space for everyone to shine.
Yeah.
And I think again, the second point is kind of the same thing again. Just reflect. Just always take a step back out of the situation, like actively. Like even if it means having a calendar that says day for reflection. Just be like, you know what? I'm decent. I'm working hard enough. I've done this in the last couple of years, and those have been good milestones and good things I've done in my life, both at work and both at home, or even if it's things that happen in your personal life. Don't forget that those are also important things you can add to your achievements, right? So like, yeah, let's take a step back, reflect, and don't just be so tunnel vision and like one thing in medicine or out of medicine. Those are my two main kind of.
Okay, awesome. Awesome, thank you. You kind of both said, you mentioned kind of speaking to the people around you, which to me is kind of like maybe reaching out for like mentorship, something like that. So Dr. Emma, if you don't mind, can you just explain to everyone exactly what the House of Medics is, how they can become a member, all that kind of stuff?
Great. Yes, the House of Medics is all about community. It's for all healthcare professionals of various disciplines, stages and specialties. And it's basically because I found that when I was looking back at all these societies that we give our money to every month or every year, I was thinking about, but who actually in any of these societies knows me? If I fall sick tomorrow, does anybody care? If I have questions to ask, is there anyone in these societies that I can ask? And the answer was no. So the point of the House of Medics is to just take it back to what these things initially were, which were meant to be support systems for its members. There are lots of students who don't know how to get to where they want to be, and there are lots of healthcare professionals who are successful in their field, but actually when they go home, they're lonely, they're burnt out, and they're stressed. So the point of the House of Medics is just to be a platform where people can find like-minded people for discussion. So the things that we do are mentorship. So if you're a student and you would like a mentor in a particular field or discipline, just become a member on the website. There's a very short form. You just need to put in your name, your email address, and tell us what you're interested in. And if you're a healthcare professional who would like to mentor, or you just want to meet other like-minded people, again, sign up. That's what it's for. We're going to be doing a lot more over the months to come. We should hopefully have some scholarships. Hopefully when Uncle Boris lets us out, there'll be events so people can meet up with each other. But yeah, that's what the House of Medics is all about. It's not necessarily like education or career progression. It's literally just you as a person. How are you doing? That's what we're here for.
Lovely, awesome. Thank you, guys. So that's the end of the panel. We're going to end by everyone saying their social media, so just so people can obviously reach out to you guys, DM you.
Yeah, I think I remember it.
Yeah, should we start with you?
Yeah. I'm r.rbu on Instagram, and on Facebook, Rasheed Rabiu. That's it.
And Dr. Emma with an extra 3 A's. So Dr. Emma AAA on Instagram, Twitter. You can find me on all the House of Medics platforms as well, which is at We Are House of Medics.
I'm on Instagram, _Ohima, so YAA_OHEEMA, and on Twitter I'm just Ohima, so you can find me there. There's no mention of my actual real name.
Okay, no problem. You can find me if you want to message me. I'm Tanisha with 2 A's _X, and our social media for House of Medics is wearehouseofmedics.org. Instagram is We Are House of Medics. YouTube is House of Medics. LinkedIn, We Are House of Medics. I do this every week. The Clubhouse, the girls are on there. I think it's once a week or every 2 weeks. So just DM Dr. Emma, Dr. Mary, or Dr. Elia for any more information on that. The Twitter and the TikTok is We Are House of Medics as well. So I've actually got one question that I'm actually just going to sneak in. So this is the last, I know you want to go as well. This is the last question. So someone just texted me saying, if they could change the medical industry, what would they implement? So maybe one person could answer, and then we can quickly wrap it up. Right. Again, if you could change the medical industry, what would you implement?
Can I say 2 things?
Yeah, please.
Only because I was actually talking about it this week. So I gave a lecture to my F1 cohort about medical schools being more inclusive. So it's an amazing young man from my university actually created a book called Mind the Gap. I'm sure you know that. Yeah, so it's basically spotting signs and symptoms in people of darker skin tone. Because right now, they're still showing us how to detect things in people of a lighter skin tone. So when you do see a patient from like a black or Asian background, it's very difficult to say whether they have a certain condition or not, because you actually have never seen that before in your life or in a book. And then another thing would be just normalising leaving work on time, and not it being you being seen as like, you know, a doctor that's not working hard enough, or like if someone needs to leave at 5 o'clock, let them leave at 5 o'clock, because they're more than a doctor, they're a family man, they're a partner, they're a friend.
Someone's mum.
Yeah, exactly. So just also like encouraging people to have, you know, side hustles or like hobbies, and not just dedicating their whole life towards medicine. So like teaching entrepreneurship maybe in medical school, or financial management.
Love that.
Yeah.
Awesome, lovely. Thank you guys so much. I really enjoyed this panel. I did. It was awesome. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you again in 2 weeks. Have a good evening. Bye. Actually do on today.
Yeah, we should.